If there's one thing that everyone in the world should be ready for, it's the inevitable zombie apocalypse. Zombies have been a hot commodity in cinema for close to 50 years now, since Romero made them a cinema staple in 1968 with Night of the Living Dead, and continued his Of the Dead franchise for decades after. And now, with The Night Eats the World, the French have had their take on the genre. While not the first French zombie film, in 2019 it is the latest. But is it worth your time? The premise of the movie is simple. Sam, a musician, is at a house party to pick up his belongings from an ex-girlfriend. While at the party, he falls asleep in the quiet office and wakes up the next morning to a chaotic scene. The apartment is trashed, there's blood all over the walls, and people are either dead or crazy. Sam does what anyone would do who has watched too much The Walking Dead and played too many video games. He thinks he knows how to survive, and goes from apartment to apartment, scavenging for food, water, and supplies. But only after he survives a near miss from a stray bullet from a suicide in the apartment below. The movie is less about zombie apocalypse and more about survival and Sam's eventual descension into utter madness. He keeps a trapped zombie alive and treats him as a friend/pet. He uses a paintball gun to take pot shots at scattered zombies roaming the streets, and to top it off, he frequently makes far too much noise practicing his latest abstract musical compositions. Let's explore what this movie does right and what it does wrong. The movie does a great job at portraying the loneliness our main character feels, highlighted no better way than when he comes across another survivor. To tell you more would be a spoiler, but the outcome of the scene is not surprising if you're paying enough attention. It also bravely attempts to take a different spin on the zombie genre. Unlike other popular movie and TV shows, the zombies here are usually very quiet. No persistent moaning and growling like we'd expect. They also don't seem to decay as quickly as usual. This means that by the end of the film, where it is implied that at least half a year or more has passed, the zombies still look similar to when Sam first encountered them. And lastly, Sam himself is a rather unique character for a zombie film. He isn't strong, he isn't brave, and he isn't particularly smart. He fumbles around a lot and generally doesn't have any valid survival skills, quite typical of what you'd expect from the modern day hipster he is portraying. How he manages to survive until the end of the film is nothing but cinema magic. But he does, barely, although the final scene will have you shaking your head in bewilderment. But the movie seems to do a lot more wrong than it should have. For starters, at 90 minutes, it still feels too long. It's tedious, it's slow, and Sam is such a boring, unlikable character that halfway through the movie when he threatens to commit suicide, you're secretly hoping he does it so the next half of the film can follow someone more interesting. Speaking of Sam, not only is he boring and unlikable, most likely to do with his hipster traits, but the actor playing him is unbelievable. When he is silent, he's fine, but when he opens his mouth, his monotonal delivery of each line in an unenthusiastic way just breaks the immersion to remind you that you're watching a film. And this actor was probably the best English-speaking male lead they auditioned for the role. Oh yes, we forgot to mention that while this is a French movie, all the dialogue, all 100 odd lines, are in English.
Sarah, you're right. We have to get the hell out of here. I'm sorry. Please, open up. Come on. You've been right all along. Sarah, answer me.
Then, to top it all off, after you've sat through 90 minutes of this tediousness hoping for a payoff at the end that makes it worthwhile, Sam decides to get a concussion and then vagues out the end of the film, leaving the audience wondering what we're supposed to take away from the final shot of the camera panning to Paris. Are we supposed to feel he has hope? Do we realise he's done for? It's an ending too clever for a movie like this, perfect for a particular type of audience that probably has no interest in zombie films. In conclusion, should you bother watching this film? Well, it depends. If you've seen the trailer and think it looks awesome, then you probably should watch it as a lesson to yourself to not believe in the hype of trailers. If you know nothing about this film other than this review, then you're probably thinking it's the worst movie ever made. Unless you're sporting a ridiculously well-manicured beard and drink soy with your coffee, then you're probably going to love this, but you'll tell anyone that you can that you actually hate it. Thank you for watching this Artie Dance movie review. Your viewing helps small channels like ours survive and gain traction and encourages us to create more content. If you like the work we do, please like this video and subscribe to keep up to date with our regular movie reviews of weird and non-mainstream titles.